Our marriage had settled into a dull, mechanical rhythm over the years, a quiet erosion that left us sharing the same space but little else. For more than a decade, intimacy had faded almost entirely, replaced by routines that felt more like coexistence than any real connection. Sex became non-existent. Emotional closeness slipped away so gradually that we barely noticed its absence until it was gone. Looking back now, we both recognize this as the fertile ground that made the affair possible, a vulnerability neither of us had the tools or courage to address at the time. I had no idea how much that quiet emptiness would cost us. She carried deep unhappiness that I sensed but never confronted directly. I wrestled with my own depression and resignation instead, convincing myself that this was simply what long-term marriages became after the initial spark dimmed. I had grown ignorant to the idea that anything could be fixed, trapped in a mindset that accepted mediocrity as inevitable. We lived side by side in the same house, performing the daily tasks of life, meals, chores, occasional small talk, but we were not partners in any loving, vibrant sense. I still loved her deeply and felt genuine physical attraction toward her, yet fear paralyzed me. The terror that she might leave if confronted with her dissatisfaction kept my mouth shut. I never voiced what I wanted, never asked what she needed. Communication between us had withered into almost nothing, a silence that stretched across decades like an invisible wall. But everything was about to change. The other man, Mark, a 42-year-old caretaker at the facility where her elderly father lived, approached her. She had observed him for a long time in that professional role, seeing him as compassionate, kind, and dedicated in ways that stood out against the backdrop of her own emotional emptiness at home. Their connection started one way, then one night they crossed a line physically. She told me later how it happened. He initiated. Afterward, he confessed something that stunned her. He hoped he could get her pregnant because he wanted so badly to become a parent. She was beyond menopause. Pregnancy was impossible. Yet part of her actually felt pulled to help him with that desire. I had no idea what that single decision would unleash. She didn't know at the time that Mark was married. He had deliberately hidden his marital status from her, presenting himself as available and in need of the very comfort she was starved for. In her unhappiness, she convinced herself she deserved this feeling, this moment of being desired and alive. She thought of friends of ours who had engaged in similar situations. If they could do it, why not her? She never even considered that I might ever know. She told herself it was a one-time thing. Not that bad, that I really wouldn't be that angry because of how unhappy she had been. These justifications sound delusional now, the kind of mental gymnastics people create to protect themselves from guilt. After that first crossing of the line, she tried to pull back, framed their interactions as mere friendship. That narrative held for a while, until it didn't. For the following 6 months or so, their connection deepened on an emotional level, constant texting and phone calls that often happened right in front of me. She claimed they were just friends. It seemed plausible. She had many genuine friendships at the care facility. My trusting mind never once considered anything more. I trusted her completely after over 30 years. Then came our vacation in July. A few weeks that should have brought us closer. Her phone kept lighting up with messages and calls to him. I finally voiced my discomfort. Told her it felt weird, that it should stop. She explained Mark was in a terrible place. Battling raging alcoholism, his wife leaving him, job troubles, general misery. She saw him as a project worth saving, someone she could help through his dark times. Very in character for her. I allowed the contact to continue. Why would I doubt her? She had been my trusted spouse through everything. But something darker was building beneath the surface. I could feel it even if I couldn't name it. The situation escalated sharply in early September. On the 4th and 5th, she spent long hours with him again. When she returned on the 5th, I asked the question that started it all. Where were you? She admitted being with Mark. Anger surged inside me. I had already told her multiple times the level of attention was too much. I stormed out for a walk to cool down. When I returned, the confrontation exploded. I yelled, and demanded to know why she invested so much energy in him. She mentioned feeling an emotional connection. Those words hung heavy in the air. I pushed harder. "Do you also have sexual attraction to him?" She hesitated, then answered yes. That admission hit like a punch to the gut. I left the room again, stewed in the pain. Then the bigger question forced its way out. I ran back in. "Did you sleep with him?" She didn't speak. She just put her face in her hands and dropped her head. That silent gesture was enough. The nuclear bomb. 35 years of trust gone in an instant. I had no idea how viciously this would change me forever. Rage, unlike anything I had known, erupted. Yelling followed, vicious words I regret but could not contain. A hatred I never suspected lived inside me boiled over. I wanted retribution against Mark. Blind fury consumed my thoughts. I loaded survival items in the car and drove off. Near misses on the road forced me to see my state. Suicidal thoughts. Fantasies of confrontation. Urges to flee the country or disappear. Somehow sanity flickered. I returned home. Set up a tent in the backyard, but found no sleep. Not 1 minute for the next 5 days. My mind replayed every detail in endless loops of agony. The first morning I took her phone, exported every screenshot of communication with Mark, gathered contacts for his sister, brother, and friend. Then I sent messages exposing what had happened. I warned Mark himself in harsh terms, but stopped short of threats. The fear of jail was the only brake on my anger. Then I contacted his wife, provided proof when she asked. She called him a horrible person who had ruined many lives already. She was leaving him. A tiny bitter satisfaction flashed through me. But it faded fast. The real darkness was just settling in. The following weeks became a haze of emotional collapse. I took time off work. Couldn't eat. Couldn't think. Couldn't function. Panic and grief ruled every hour. I arranged individual counseling for myself and marriage counseling for both of us. Sessions started 1 week after that shattering day. After some time in that broken state, I decided I wanted to pursue reconciliation. I asked her if she did too. She said yes at first. Later admitted uncertainty. Needed time to figure it out. We moved forward with reconciliation as the goal anyway. She has answered every single question I asked. Honestly. Everything lines up with phone records, texts, maps, and calendars. No obvious contradictions. That gave me a fragile foundation, yet the real battle was only beginning. In the present, several months later, my wife still grapples with limerence. The obsessive emotional attachment to Mark lingers. She works on it actively in individual therapy, making gradual progress. She now sees how he manipulated her, how the saintly image she built was pure illusion, no real shared values or future, pure fantasy born of her unmet needs. She has maintained strict no contact since Discovery Day. Mark tried reaching her twice in the first week. Nothing since. He doesn't know where we live. She seems committed to working toward reconciliation, but the progress feels agonizingly slow. She reports no current sexual attraction to me. Though she works on rebuilding that in counseling, I have been very clear. A sexless marriage is not an option for me. Through my own deep soul searching, I clarified my boundaries. I will strive to make her happy without sacrificing what I need for my future. Communication has transformed for me. A switch flipped. Now I speak whatever is on my mind immediately. No more silence. No more hidden disappointment. She works on communication too. Still struggles, but shows effort. We continue living together, sleeping in the same bed most nights, maintaining politeness while she comforts me through panic attacks, flashbacks, intrusive mind movies, and sudden crying fits. She demonstrates care even as her own remorse feels incomplete because limerence still clouds her feelings. She understands the dynamic, though, and her full no-contact commitment gives me hope it will fade. Recently she said the words I had waited to hear. It was definitely not worth it. A real shift from her earlier, claims that it wasn't so bad. Good days are slowly becoming more common. Moments where the affair does not dominate every thought. Yet the roller coaster never stops. Meltdowns still hit hard. exhausting and unpredictable. Sleep remains fragmented most nights, though occasional full nights mark small progress from the initial 6 weeks of total insomnia. We have tried rebuilding physical closeness, mostly at my urging, driven by intense jealousy and a deep need to reclaim connection. It has been difficult. We await full medical clearance after the earlier risks. The past keeps surfacing. In all the questioning I uncovered, shocking things I never knew across 35 years. Her history of sexual abuse, rape, deep family traumas, all hidden behind our terrible communication. We are discovering each other anew. Painful, raw, but strangely hopeful at the same time. Financial strain adds another heavy layer. Counseling costs exceed $1,500 monthly, draining savings we cannot easily afford. When she complained about the expense, I looked straight at her. This is the literal price of those moments with Mark. Each day remains a gamble. Will intrusive thoughts paralyze me today? Will flashbacks strike without warning? Will she be fully present and honest? Work suffers despite remote arrangements from my doctor. The exhaustion never fully leaves. Optimism surfaces in more hours now. A slow building sense that reconciliation might actually succeed. Darker periods still grip me viciously, but they loosen their hold slightly over time. We attend every counseling session, unpack layer after layer of hurt, old patterns, and new possibilities. I have shared our story with almost no one. Only the counselors and one trusted friend, who is a professional herself. The loneliness is crushing. The burden feels disproportionately mine. She experienced the excitement of the affair. I carry the trauma and the daily work of forgiving. I desperately want her to fully internalize the gravity of what she did, the pain it caused, the way it altered me forever. Rebuilding physical and emotional connection remains the hardest fight of all. Her resistance may stem from lingering limerence or genuine loss of attraction. We tackle both in therapy. I search constantly for ways forward. Any suggestions from those who have walked this exact path would mean everything. I lurk and sometimes comment in support communities, drawing strength from shared stories while offering pieces of my own when ready. Not feeling alone in this nightmare is vital. The process is isolating, expensive, draining beyond words, yet moments of genuine connection and small progress keep us moving. We learn something new every single day. About communication, about old wounds, about the possibility of a renewed relationship built on honesty instead of silence. The future still holds uncertainty, but on better days it also holds real hope. She comforts me when I break, works on herself. We navigate this storm together, one unpredictable day at a time. What comes next? Only time will tell. But we keep choosing to try.